Life is so incredibly hard, and I don't like that a lot of the mental health conversation is super one-sided. It's super silver lining. It's super walk towards the light. That doesn't work for a lot of people. That doesn't work when you're in the middle of the shit. I'm not a licensed therapist, right? I only speak on the topic of mental health from my own lived experiences, okay? That being said, escaping shit life syndrome is something I have direct experience with. I did it, and you can do it too, and I'm going to tell you some straight up facts and secrets about how I did it. So the thing to remember here is that our feelings, our emotions, our identities, our past traumas, everything that we're dealing with, our worldview, our perspective, all of this can be grabbed by the reins and used as fuel. So I'm here to tell you that if you're someone that feels like everything is against you, financially, physically, mentally, romantically, you actually kind of have a superpower, because that is a lot of things coming at you in the form of feedback that you can then feed back into a loop and use as motivation. A good example of what I'm talking about, like in video games use feedback loops to keep people hooked and wanting to play. You know, a positive feedback loop is something that, you know, if you're winning in a game, you get stuff to keep you winning, right? Like a kill streak in a video game. A negative feedback loop is, you know, as the person in first place kind of goes further and further and further, the bottom people are the ones who get the extra power to try to balance things out, right? Life, society, has both. Let's put you to the test. Are you the kind of person that when you need motivation, perhaps once or twice in your life, you've reached for a motivational video, something to really pump you up, and it's someone telling you fantastic quotes and maybe a story about how they overcame adversity and blah, 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 but you see it from the perspective of cynicism. You say, that's good for you, dude, but that's not me, right? If you see things like that as separate from you through a cynical worldview, this video is for you, because that's me too. When I watch those pump me up motivational videos about people that run super ultra marathons, I go, sounds like a waste of time, dude. Cool. So trust me when I say we're speaking the same language. Now let me tell you about your superpower. A lot of people use that positive motivation to keep them going. They need compliments from family and friends. They need that support. They need that system in place to thrive. You don't. You actually don't need that. If you're the kind of person where compliments make you cringe, like I am, you operate on another system entirely. For me to harness all of the things that I got going on in my life, all right? Yeah, you got like ADHD, you got like dyslexia, a little bit of OCD, you know, you got all these fun health things that are going on. I got arthritis in my back. But here's the thing. I use all of that to be, angry isn't the right word, but we'll say angry. To be angry with the world at constantly stifling me, right? As if there's an enemy effect happening where it's me against the world, because clearly nothing in this world wants to give me a shot. Nothing in this world wants to help me out. So you very quickly go into a me against the world mentality. That is a bad place to be long term. If you've been stuck in this place mentally for a long period of time, that can be draining. That can be just the heart of darkness. That is such a not good place to be, and you got to get out. And you got to get out now, right? And here's how I would advise you to do that. Really realize that that anger and that frustration, right? And that cynicism, that thing that you feel, it's coming from a lot of different places, but it's an energy source. It is a fuel. It is a thing that you can use. Rather than seeing it as an oppressive force that's holding you down underwater and you can't breathe, you can use it like a flotation device to make sure that you can always tread water. I'm a big believer, self-hate, it's not a positive motivator. We shouldn't use it, but it's powerful. It is very potent, right? The difference between a lot of people that are overweight, that make the decision to start going to the gym and stick with it and lose the weight, and the people that don't make that decision or do make that decision and then stop without following through is self-hate. The people that lose the weight, they woke up one day and hated who they saw in the mirror and decided to change it. And that hate was so pungent, it was so powerful that they were able to stick with it. That's the only difference. I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. I'm saying self-hate tends to get results when harnessed as a motivation. A lot of people are going to hear what I'm saying and they think this is bad advice or this is negative or like I shouldn't be telling people this. But this is literally how I did it. This is literally how I did it. I got really fed up at the fact that I was never given a chance in this world to make myself better and to make something of myself. And instead of making excuses, okay, time and time again, use all my past regrets and mistakes and letting them all bog me down and accumulating it all into some identity of a fuck up that's never going to amount to anything. I used all that. I said, well, that's great. That's who I was. Now it's time to put the foot on the gas and actually go do the damn thing, right? And then I just didn't stop. The ambition, the self-loathing, that all that negative energy that I had, that I saw as a weight holding me down, it suddenly really became the accelerator to waking up at 5 a.m. going like, well, I don't really care how you feel, dude. We're going, right? It wasn't from this. I was motivating myself. I was able to do this from a place that really wasn't positive. It wasn't a positive place. But when you have shit life syndrome, you don't really have that positive of a place to go to. You don't have a positive reservoir to kind of feed your tank. So you've got to dip into that negativity and you got to figure out a way to use that negativity. But here's the thing. You are hardwired to see everything through that brown colored lens glasses, right? You are primed to see everything through that negative lens. Even positive opportunities are passing you by because you kind of refuse to engage, right? Here's the trick. If you can harness that negativity as fuel in the tank, something that can really refine that to a sharpened edge is the enemy effect, right? I'm sure everyone's heard the saying that you are your own worst enemy. When trying to harness negative energy as the greatest motivator to get ahead, you actually not only are your worst enemy, you need to be. You need to be the worst enemy of the person you were, and you are trying to destroy that person. All right? If you wake up and your ankles are a little bit sore, good. Go for a run, make them hurt more. If the idea of going and doing this thing makes you nervous or anxious, well, that person is your enemy. So go do it. Go put that person through that experience in that event. Make them go through it, right? That's how you really start to see what I would say accelerated changes, drastic changes in a very short amount of time. In therapy, there's this thing called exposure therapy, right? If you're afraid of, butterflies, your therapist might recommend that you go to a butterfly exhibit, right? And that can seem on paper like torture. That's the thing that you're afraid of. Why would you ever want to go around a bunch of butterflies, right? But it works. Exposure therapy works. Not for everybody and not in all degrees of things, but it tends on the whole in general to work for a lot of people. That's all I'm talking about. For anyone that's shaking their head being like, this sounds terrible. I'm just talking about basic exposure therapy. You're exposing yourself to those negative things that are both happening to you and that you are making happen to you and that are happening without your control at all. All of those things, we shelter ourselves from them. We try to get away from them. But for some reason, it feels like they chase us down. The world wants us to fail. It wants to hold us back. It doesn't want to help us. Nobody wants to help us. And if that's you, where else do you go? how else are you supposed to act in life? You're never going to do anything unless you look at all those things and you say, I accept this. And I hate the fact that I accept it. And I hate the fact that all this is happening to me, this person that is now my enemy. Let's see how much they can take. Let's force them to go do things, right? These things should be positive. They should be positive things in your life. Why don't you rehash that conversation with that person? Why don't you go try going on this diet? Why don't you try to go lift heavy things for 30 days? You are forcing that person, yourself, the enemy of your past, you are forcing that person to go do positive things through negative reinforcement, right? I told you from the beginning, a lot of people are going to disagree with this, okay? But if you are one of those people that really feel like you can't catch a break, you just can't come up for air, everything is riding you, you're exhausted, you're physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually depleted, okay? There's no point in reaching for the clouds. There's no point in looking for that bright side, that silver lining of all of this, the meaning in the rhyme. There's no reason to do that, because when everything is shit, you don't need to be looking for the diamond to make you feel better. You need to get really good at shoveling shit is what you need. Here's what you do. Examine your life as it is, as if you were an outside observer. Examine your relationships, your inactions, the things that you know you should do, but you just can't be bothered. You just don't have the energy, but you know you should probably do them. But like at the end of the day, who cares, right? Inactions. Look at those. And then also look at the actions. What are you doing in place of those inactions? Are you binge watching TV? Are you just ordering food through DoorDash all the time? What are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis? Are you getting to work early, late, on time? Are you packing a lunch? What do you actually do? What does your day look like? Okay? And then take all of that and say, what is everything I hate about this? What is everything I just infuriates me about this? I hate the fact that I got to get up 6 a.m. on a Monday, get to work by 8. I'm stuck there. The only lunch I eat is a shitty little blah, blah, blah. Look at all the things that you generally hate in your life. I know what you think I'm going to say. You think I'm going to say, then change it. That's actually not what I'm going to say. And once you have a list of all of these things that you just despise, attribute them, all of them, to this past you, okay? This past you that still has to go to this shitty job, that still has to eat these shitty meals, right? If you're financially struggling, grocery stores right now are insane. So that's great. All that negative stuff, that's affecting a past person. This person that's stuck in that rut. But you in the present right now, you is going to move beyond that. You're going to both accept that all of that stuff is happening to this past you. You're going to learn to not like that past you and to try to get away from it. You're going to try to put distance between you and that person. In the beginning, you're each going to be right here, almost indistinguishable from each one another. You're both going to have to go to that shitty job. You're both going to have to go do that shitty thing. That's how it's going to be. But you're going to actively start trying to leave this person behind. It's okay to go back and go this close and kind of wax and wane that distance, but you want to continue putting space between you and this person. There is no doubt that the people that actually are able to do this and make that change, number one, they're not telling anybody about it. They're not telling people that they're doing this. This is a decision that you make for you by you. You don't need to share this with anybody. You don't need to tell anybody that you're trying to better yourself, because you're not. You're not trying to better yourself. You're trying to take all the shit that's wrong and bad in your life and attribute it to this person that is a victim, that cannot help themselves, that is everything you don't like about yourself. You're trying to accumulate all of that into an identity, a core, and it's fully formed and has been up until this moment. And then you're trying to create something new. between right here and then the future when you can't even recognize this person anymore. And then you're going to do what I do, which is measure your success every day, every week, every year by how fucking far you stay from that person, how far away you stay from that person, right? That is how to harness this energy to make your life something better. Forget all the positive woo-woo and all this stuff. I wish I could. I wish I was that person. I like to, when I talk to the camera, I use that type of motivation to talk to people because I know it clicks for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it would never click for me. I'm not that kind of a person. I need negativity. I need stress. I need pressure. I need things in my life to cause me to actually make change. And if you don't have that external pressure, right? If you don't have that timeline where this thing has to get done by, you're never going to do it. So how I bring about that external pressure is I bring it about internally. I tell myself, I'm going to take all the stuff I don't like, I'm going to attribute to this person, this identity, this fuck up. And then I'm going to slowly start kind of moving myself away from them until I become someone totally different. Someone that doesn't use drugs and alcohol, someone that prays to God, someone that is trying to get healthy and goes to the gym, someone that eats healthy, someone that has self-control, someone who loves people deeply and is a good listener and doesn't let ego and attitude get in the way of relationships, right? All of these things, you should have a target and you're trying to move towards that. And it can seem impossible. But rather than moving towards this target, you just need to be moving away. I know this is a rough video. I know this is rough advice. I know this is hard for people to hear and listen to. If you're still around, thank you very much. But, god damn, dude. Like, we all just can't keep pretending that everything's okay. Life is so incredibly hard. And I don't like that a lot of the mental health conversation is super one-sided. It's super silver lining. It's super walk towards the light. That doesn't work for a lot of people. That doesn't work when you're in the middle of the shit. You don't feel like looking at the bright side of things. It doesn't even seem like there is one. It seems like the idea of one might be a lie. So then how do we get away from it? Well, turns out that negativity and all that self-hatred and loathing that you do might actually be a superpower. It might be jet fuel, ready to take you exactly where you want to go. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Like and subscribe for sure, but also please leave me a comment. With all these videos, I'm trying to talk to you guys in a way where I don't feel alone. And when you guys get down in the comments or message me and tell me this is you too, I know I'm on the right track, right? I'm only speaking to my own lived experiences. And if you guys are feeling this too, let me know, because it tells me I'm not alone. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm Taylor, and see you next time. Bye.